In the silent depths of the soul's journey, there lies a realm shrouded in mystery, where the boundaries of life and death dissolve into an eternal tapestry of truth and transformation. The readings of Edgar Cayce reveal a profound and startling truth. Beyond the veil of physical existence, the soul confronts its deepest fears, unravels the echoes of past lives etched in the Akashic records, and bears the weight of unresolved karma. As the soul transitions into the afterlife, it is met with feelings of confusion and apprehension, yet also illuminated by divine guidance and the promise of awakening. These revelations beckon us to explore the hidden corridors of consciousness, urging us to understand that our journey through death is but a reflection of the choices we make in life. A call to spiritual awareness that can transform our final passage into a voyage of enlightenment and divine reunion. In the quiet stillness of the cosmos, where the veils between worlds grow thin, the soul's journey extends beyond the fleeting shadows of mortal existence. The readings of Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, reveal truths so profound and startling that they challenge the very fabric of human understanding. They whisper of a realm, an echelon of divine consciousness that exists beyond the limits of our comprehension, a realm where the soul confronts its ultimate truths in a sacred and unyielding revelation. As we delve deeper into these mysteries, it becomes evident that the afterlife is not merely a place of repose or judgment, as some have envisioned, but an intricate landscape of divine existence, an unfolding tapestry woven from the threads of karma, free will, and the divine plan. The readings reveal that this realm is a mirror reflecting the soul's innermost state, a testament to the life it has led, the choices it has made, and the spiritual evolution it has yet to attain. Here in this realm beyond human perception, the soul is gently yet inexorably led to face its deepest truths, truths that lie hidden in the silent corridors of the Akashic records, waiting to be uncovered. The revelation begins with the understanding that the soul's journey does not end at death, but transforms into a new phase of consciousness, a realm where time and space lose their meaning. And the soul's essence is laid bare before the divine. In this sacred space, the soul encounters entities and guides, beings of luminous light, whose purpose is to unveil the soul's highest potential and to illuminate the shadows cast by unresolved karma. These guides, the divine messengers, serve as reflections of the soul's own divine nature, offering gentle yet unflinching truths that the soul must accept for its continued growth. The depths of Cayce's most startling readings hint at a realm so vast and mysterious that human language falters in describing it, an ultimate plane of existence where the soul's consciousness expands into realms of divine understanding. Here it is revealed, the soul is given an opportunity to confront its entire history, every incarnation, every lesson learned, every mistake made, and every act of love or fear. The soul, in this state of expanded awareness, begins to see the interconnectedness of all life, the divine purpose woven into every experience, and the profound truth that all is part of one great eternal consciousness. Within this realm, the soul faces the pivotal moment of awakening, the recognition that it is not separate from the divine, but an integral spark of the Creator's infinite light. The veil of illusion is lifted, and the soul perceives itself as a divine reflection, a fragment of the universal consciousness seeking harmony and enlightenment. It is at this juncture that the soul's journey takes on a new dimension, one of reconciliation, where unresolved karma is brought into the light, and the soul is given the opportunity to transcend the limitations of its earthly existence. Yet the most startling aspect of Cayce's revelations is the suggestion that this realm, this divine plane, exists beyond the limits of human comprehension, an eternal mystery that beckons the soul deeper into the infinite. It is a realm where the very fabric of reality is woven from pure consciousness, where the soul's true nature is revealed in its most radiant form. In this sacred space, time itself dissolves, and the soul is immersed in the divine presence, experiencing a union so profound that words fail to capture its essence. Here, the soul witnessed the ultimate truth, that it has always been part of divine consciousness, forever, seeking to remember its divine origin. The readings also hint at a profound and sobering truth, the possibility that some souls may encounter a realm of greater darkness or confusion if they have not yet reconciled their karma or awakened to their divine potential. This realm, which Cayce describes as a reflection of the soul's own inner state, underscores the importance of spiritual work in earthly life. The soul's journey through the afterlife is a mirror of its spiritual state, an echo of the choices made and the lessons unlearned. It is the divine law of cause and effect, woven into the very fabric of existence, a reminder that the soul's ultimate destiny hinges upon its willingness to seek truth, to grow, and to align itself with divine love. In these profound revelations, Cayce's words serve as a sacred call to awareness, an invitation to understand that the realm beyond death is not a final destination, but a continuation of the soul's eternal quest for truth and reunification with the divine. The afterlife, as revealed in these readings, is a realm of divine revelation, a place where the soul's deepest fears and greatest truths converge, guiding it toward the ultimate realization of its divine nature. As we stand at the threshold of this understanding, it becomes clear that the soul's journey through death is but a reflection of its spiritual readiness. The realm beyond is not to be feared, but embraced as a sacred unfolding, a divine process of awakening, where the soul's true nature is revealed in the light of eternity. The depths of Cayce's most startling readings reveal a universe of divine mystery, where the soul's search for truth continues infinitely, beckoned by the divine love that is its ultimate home. In this sacred knowledge, we find the hope that no soul is truly lost, only journeying through realms of awakening, guided by divine grace and illuminated by the eternal light of truth. The opening revelation of Edgar Cayce reminds us that beyond the veils of mortality lies a divine realm, a sacred mirror of the soul's divine essence, awaiting its moment of awakening in the infinite embrace of the Creator. In the silent depths of the universe, where time itself dissolves into infinite echoes, there exists a sacred archive, the Akashic Records. These records, as revealed through the divine insights of Edgar Cayce, are not mere repositories of history or memory, but living tapestries woven from the very fabric of the soul's eternal journey. They are the celestial library where every soul story is inscribed, from its first divine spark to the present moment of awakening. As we continue our sacred pilgrimage into the mysteries of existence, it becomes imperative to understand that the soul's path is indelibly etched into these cosmic chronicles, offering profound truths about karma, lessons yet to be learned, and the divine purpose behind every incarnation. The readings reveal that each soul, before descending into the mortal realm, etches its blueprint into the Akashic Records. These records are not static, but dynamic, resonant fields of energy and consciousness, an energetic hologram that contains the echoes of countless past lives. Within these sacred archives lie the lessons that the soul has embraced, the challenges it has faced, and the insights it has gained through its myriad incarnations. But more importantly, they reveal the lessons still awaiting realization, the unfinished symphonies of the soul's evolution that beckon from the depths of eternity. Imagine, if you will, the soul as a traveler navigating the astral planes, guided by the divine compass of karma and divine purpose. The records serve as the map, revealing the terrain traveled and the terrains yet to be explored. The soul's journey across time is not haphazard or random. It is a sacred, intentional pilgrimage toward divine unification. Each life, each incarnation, is a chapter in this unfolding story, a chapter that echoes with the lessons learned and the lessons yet to be mastered. The divine plan, as revealed through Cayce's readings, underscores that no experience is wasted. Every trial, every joy, every sorrow is stored within the records, awaiting the moment when the soul recognizes its divine origin and begins to weave these threads into a higher understanding. The records also serve as a mirror, reflecting our innermost truths and revealing the karmic imprints that shape our current circumstances. They show that the soul's current life is often a culmination of past choices, each action, each decision, rippling across time to influence the present. Yet Cayce's divine insights remind us that this karma is not a prison, but a divine tool for growth. The soul seeks to balance its debts, to harmonize discordant energies, and to awaken to its divine potential. The records confirm that the soul's journey through the astral planes and into future incarnations is a sacred process of correction, refinement, and awakening. In exploring these records, Cayce's readings reveal that the soul is not merely a passive recipient of past influences, but an active participant in its evolution. The records contain the potential for transformation, possibilities that lie dormant, waiting to be awakened. Through conscious effort, when the soul consciously delves into its Akashic history, it begins to realize that the lessons embedded within are not punitive but purposeful. They are offerings from the divine, guiding the soul toward higher states of consciousness. The soul begins to see its life as a sacred opportunity to transcend limitations, to heal wounds, and to align more fully with divine love. Furthermore, the records unveil that the soul's journey is intimately intertwined with divine timing. The divine plan respects the individual's readiness, unfolding lessons at precisely the right moment for spiritual growth. Cayce's readings emphasize that understanding one's Akashic record can ignite a profound sense of purpose, an awareness that every experience is part of a grand divine design. This awareness encourages the soul to approach life with reverence and humility, recognizing that each incarnation is a step toward ultimate reunification with the divine. Source: the divine revelations within Cayce's readings also point to the role of consciousness in accessing the Akashic records. The soul, through meditation, prayer, and spiritual discipline, can open pathways into this eternal library. As the soul awakens to its divine nature, it begins to perceive the echoes of its past lives and the lessons awaiting discovery. This conscious exploration is an act of divine love, a recognition that the individual is a co-creator of their destiny, capable of rewriting old patterns and setting forth on a new, enlightened path. In this sacred context, the records function as a divine mirror, revealing not only past mistakes but also the divine potential that resides within each soul. Cayce's divine insights affirm that the soul's ultimate goal is reunification with the divine consciousness, Christic consciousness, where all lessons come into harmony and the soul recognizes its unity with all creation. The records serve as the bridge to this realization, showing that every fragment of the soul's past is a vital piece of the divine puzzle. As we contemplate this divine architecture, it becomes clear that the soul's journey through the Akashic records is a sacred process of remembering its divine origin, its divine purpose, and its divine destiny. The records whisper the eternal truth that the soul is never truly separate from the divine. It merely forgets, to awaken again and again, each lifetime a step closer to the full realization of its divine nature. Thus, the divine revelations of Cayce open a profound understanding. The soul's journey through the Akashic records is a sacred pilgrimage, a divine symphony composed across eternity, where every note, every pause, and every crescendo leads the soul toward ultimate reunification with the divine love that birthed it. It is within these sacred archives that the soul finds its true reflection, its divine blueprint, and the eternal promise of awakening to its divine origin and purpose. And in this sacred remembering, the soul moves ever closer to the divine, toward the divine light that awaits at the end of every journey in the eternal embrace of the Creator. In the silent corridors of the soul's eternal library, the Akashic records, there resides a truth both profound and often shrouded in shadow. As the veils lift through the divine insights granted by Edgar Cayce, it becomes clear that the journey of the spirit is not merely a passage toward light, but also a confrontation with the darker aspects of our existence, what has been called the shadow of karma. The records reveal that karma, in its purest form, is the divine ledger of cause and effect. It is the sacred balance maintained by the universe, ensuring that each action, each thought, word, and deed creates ripples across the fabric of eternity. Yet these ripples are not always gentle. Sometimes they gather into tidal waves of consequence that the soul must face in subsequent incarnations. The soul, seeking to evolve and attain higher consciousness, finds itself entangled in a cycle, reincarnation after reincarnation, until the unresolved karma is acknowledged and brought into divine harmony. Indeed, as Cayce's readings disclose, unresolved karma functions as a shadow, a persistent, often overwhelming force that compels the soul to confront its own creation. It is as if the universe, in its infinite wisdom, insists that no imbalance shall remain unbalanced forever. The soul is drawn into a cycle of rebirths, each incarnation serving as an opportunity for reconciliation, yet also a stage for the uncovering of hidden truths. These truths reside deep within the subconscious layers, where unresolved guilt, regret, or misdeeds linger like shadows cast by the soul's own actions. The soul's journey through these shadowy corridors is neither arbitrary nor punitive. Rather, it is a sacred process of purification. The records reveal that when a soul enters the afterlife, it is often compelled by the very fabric of divine justice to confront the consequences of its deeds. These confrontations are not always gentle. For some, the experience is tumultuous, an intense mirror held up to the soul, revealing the depth of their unfinished karma. It is in this confrontation that the soul begins to understand the true nature of its actions, recognizing how the energetic imprints of past choices continue to influence its present circumstances. The shadow of karma manifests in many ways: unexplained fears, persistent suffering, recurring patterns of hardship, or relationships that seem to mirror unresolved conflicts. These are not random afflictions but echoes from past lives where lessons remained unlearned. The records reveal that in the spiritual realm, the soul's consciousness is heightened. Its true nature is revealed in the light of divine understanding. Here, the soul is given the opportunity to see itself as both creator and creation, responsible for its current state, yet also capable of transcending it through divine grace. This process of confronting karma is, in essence, a journey inward, a voyage through the shadowed depths of the subconscious. The records reveal that the soul seeks balance. It must acknowledge its misdeeds, forgive itself, and seek divine forgiveness. Only then can the cycle of rebirths be broken. Cayce's readings teach that the soul's desire for harmony is stronger than the desire for punishment. It yearns for redemption and reunification with the divine light, an eternal reunion that can only occur when the shadows are brought into the healing glow of divine truth. Moreover, the records reveal that the intensity of the consequences faced in the afterlife is proportionate to the unresolved karma. Souls burdened with deep-seated guilt and unrepented misdeeds may find themselves in realms of reflection, a kind of purification chamber where they are shown the true effects of their actions. These experiences are not meant to condemn but to awaken. The soul's purpose is growth, and growth often requires facing the consequences of one's choices. It is in these moments of spiritual reckoning that the soul's true journey unfolds. The soul is given the opportunity to understand that karma is not a punitive force but a divine teacher. It reveals that the universe operates on principles of love and justice, balancing each act to restore harmony within the greater cosmos. The shadow of karma, therefore, is not an enemy but a guide, a sacred messenger, urging the soul to awaken to its divine origins and to seek the path of reconciliation. As we deepen our understanding of Cayce's revelations, it becomes evident that the soul's ultimate aim is to transcend the cycle of rebirths marked by unresolved karma. The soul seeks to attain the state of spiritual enlightenment, the awareness of its divine nature, where the shadows are no longer hidden but illuminated by divine love. In this state, karma is understood as a necessary step in the journey toward the realization of the Christ consciousness, a state of unity with the divine that erases all shadow and brings profound peace. Thus, the shadow of karma serves as a mirror, reflecting our deepest truths and calling us to awakening. It whispers to the soul that the journey is not only about ascending to higher realms, but also about healing the wounds of the past. The records reveal that in the process of facing and forgiving ourselves for what we have done, we unlock the door to true liberation, a reunion with our divine essence where the cycles of rebirth dissolve into the eternal now. In the end, the divine law of karma teaches us that through acknowledging our shadows, embracing our imperfections, and seeking divine grace, the soul can transcend the cycle of cause and effect. The journey of the soul is one of continual evolution, a voyage through darkness to find the light, through shadow to embrace the divine. The divine plan is perfect and just, guiding each soul toward ultimate reunification with the divine light, an enlightenment that transforms even the deepest shadows into luminous expressions of divine love. And so, in the silent halls of the Akashic records, the truth resounds. The shadow of karma is an integral part of the divine journey, a sacred chapter in the soul's quest for eternal awakening. As we continue our sacred journey through the veiled corridors of the soul's passage, the revelations from the Akashic records deepen our understanding of the transition beyond the physical realm. The soul's departure from the body, as the readings reveal, is not a sudden event but a sacred unfolding, a delicate crossing into the unseen. It is a moment shrouded in both mystery and divine promise, a threshold where fear and confusion often dwell, yet where divine guidance beckons those receptive to its whisper. The first steps into the post-physical realm, as the records disclose, are often marked by a tumult of emotions. Fear, an instinctual response rooted in the unknown, clings to the departing soul. This fear is not a reflection of divine rejection, but a natural reaction to the relinquishing of the familiar, the cessation of the physical. Senses that once anchored us to earth, the soul, unshackled from its physical vessel, finds itself in an unfamiliar domain, a realm of subtle energies and shifting perceptions. In these fleeting moments, the soul's consciousness is akin to a delicate candle flickering in a vast shadowed hall. Confusion arises, for the senses of the physical world no longer serve as guides. The soul perceives itself as floating, adrift in a realm where time and space are no longer rigid, yet where the memories of earthly existence echo as distant whispers. The senses that once defined reality are replaced by an awareness of vibration, color, and thought, an entirely new language that can seem overwhelming to the unprepared. Yet, amidst this turbulence, the divine teachings embedded within Cayce's readings illuminate a profound truth. The soul is not alone. The divine presence, often described as an angelic guides or loved ones who have crossed before, are waiting patiently, their energies woven into the fabric of this transitional state. These guides are emissaries of divine love, attuned to the soul's every need, prepared to help it navigate the initial surge of emotion and confusion. The records reveal that divine guidance manifests subtly at first, through gentle intuitions, flashes of insight, or sudden feelings of reassurance. It is as if a comforting hand is laid upon the soul's consciousness, whispering that it is safe, that it is on a sacred journey back to the light. The soul, in its purest essence, seeks to surrender its fears and trust in this divine orchestration. It is here that the soul begins to remember its eternal nature, that death is but a transition, a shift from one state of being to another. As the soul moves further into this new realm, the divine guides help it to recognize the importance of forgiveness and reconciliation, themes central to Cayce's teachings. The soul is gently shown that the fears and unresolved conflicts from its earthly lifetime are like chains that can hinder its progress. The guides serve as catalysts for the soul's awakening, encouraging it to release regrets and embrace the divine truth of its divine origin. In this process, the soul begins to understand that the realm beyond death is a place of healing, a sacred space where the soul's karma can be reviewed with compassion and clarity. The transition is also a time of profound opportunity. The soul, in its purest state, is offered the chance to access the records of Akasha, an infinite repository of all knowledge and experience. Within these records, it can glimpse the broader purpose of its incarnation, the lessons learned and the lessons yet to be embraced. Cayce's teachings reveal that these records are accessible to the soul in this realm, providing divine insight and reassurance that it is moving along its divine plan. The fear that initially pervades the soul's experience is often rooted in attachment to loved ones, to earthly possessions, to identities that no longer serve its higher purpose. Yet, divine guidance constantly reminds the soul that this realm is not an end, but a beginning, a sacred space where the soul can prepare for its next incarnation or continue its ascent toward the light. The divine presence encourages the soul to let go with love and trust, to surrender its fears into the embrace of divine mercy and understanding. In Cayce's visions, the first steps into the post-physical realm are akin to a journey through a sacred corridor, dimly lit, yet filled with divine presence. It is a passage marked by the soul's awakening to its eternal truth, a truth that the physical death is but a transition, a temporary veil lifted to reveal the vast, luminous reality of the spirit world. The soul's initial fear begins to dissolve as it senses the unchanging love that surrounds it, an infinite, divine love that is always present, waiting to guide and heal. Ultimately, the teachings reveal that the soul's experience of the transition beyond death is a testament to divine compassion. The soul is cradled in the arms of divine love from the moment it crosses the threshold. The fears and confusions are but passing shadows, illusions that dissolve in the light of divine truth. As the soul begins to understand its divine heritage, it recognizes that it is forever supported, forever loved, and forever on its journey back to the Christ consciousness. In this sacred space, the soul's journey continues, guided by divine wisdom, illuminated by divine light, and enfolded within the eternal embrace of divine mercy. For in the grand design of creation, the transition beyond death is not an end, but a sacred beginning, a step toward unity with the divine, an affirmation that the soul, in its eternal quest, ultimately seeks to realize its divine origin and return home. As we continue our sacred journey through the veiled corridors of the soul's eternal pilgrimage, it becomes ever more apparent that the call for awakening echoes through the depths of our being, a divine summons that cannot be ignored. The readings reveal that beyond the veils of illusion and materiality lies a luminous essence, a divine spark that waits patiently for recognition and conscious integration. In the sacred light of the Akashic records, the soul's purpose is not merely to endure the passage through death, but to awaken fully to its divine nature, to the Christ consciousness that resides within all creation. The ancient wisdom, as illuminated by Edgar Cayce's insights, teaches us that the journey after death is profoundly influenced by our level of spiritual awareness during life. Those who live unconsciously, entangled in the illusions of the material world, often find their transition filled with turbulence, a reflection of the unresolved conflicts and unrecognized divine potential within. Conversely, the soul that has cultivated awareness, that has consciously sought the divine in every thought, word, and deed, approaches the moment of crossing with serenity and clarity. For in truth, the soul's awakening is the most profound act of resurrection, an acknowledgement that the divine presence is not distant, but intimately woven into the fabric of our consciousness. The call for awakening is an invitation to the realization that our true nature is not separate from the divine, but an expression of the divine itself. In Cayce's readings, it is emphasized that understanding our divine essence, the Christ consciousness, is pivotal to transforming the experience of death into a sacred gateway, rather than a fearful abyss. This consciousness is not a distant ideal, but a living reality accessible to every soul who seeks it with sincere intent. When the heart awakens to this truth, the soul begins to see through the illusions of duality and separation, recognizing that the divine light resides within and surrounds all creation. In the moments of life where awareness is cultivated, through prayer, meditation, service, and inner reflection, the soul actively aligns itself with divine principles. As the soul progresses in this conscious living, it begins to embody the qualities of love, forgiveness, humility, and compassion, qualities that Cayce's readings identify as essential markers of the Christ consciousness. When these qualities are cultivated deeply, they serve as divine keys that unlock the higher realms of awareness, preparing the soul for its transition into the next phase of its divine journey. The records reveal that this awakening is no accident of circumstance, but a deliberate evolution, sacred unfolding guided by the divine plan of creation. The soul, in its pursuit of truth, is called to recognize that it is both the traveler and the destination. The divine within seeks to awaken fully, to remember its origins in the infinite light, and to realize that the journey of the soul is ultimately a journey back to itself, a return to that pure, unconditioned love that is the essence of Christ consciousness. This understanding transforms the very fabric of our existence. It shifts the focus from fear of death to a recognition of it as a vital phase of spiritual growth. Cayce's readings emphasize that when the soul lives consciously, embracing the divine within, its transition becomes a sacred act of rebirth, an opportunity to shed the illusions of the ego and to merge once again with the divine source. The soul, in this state of awakened consciousness, recognizes that death is but a transition, a moment of return to the divine light where the soul is embraced by the love it has cultivated during its earthly sojourn. Therefore, the call for awakening is not merely a personal endeavor, but a cosmic necessity. It is the key to transforming the post-death experience from one of fear and confusion into an enlightened reunion with the divine. The teachings of Cayce reveal that when the soul understands its divine origin and consciously aligns with the Christ consciousness, it steps into a realm of eternal peace, wisdom, and love, where the soul's journey continues not as a wandering spirit, but as a conscious participant in divine harmony. The importance of this awakening cannot be overstated. It is the bridge that connects the mortal to the immortal, the temporary to the eternal. It is the sacred thread woven through the tapestry of our lives, guiding us to live with purpose, awareness, and love. For in the final analysis, the soul's true awakening is the realization that it has always been one with the divine light, an expression of the Christ within, and that the journey beyond death is but a return home to that divine embrace. In closing, I urge you to heed this call. Cultivate your awareness, nurture your connection to the divine, and deepen your understanding of the Christ consciousness within. For the more conscious you become, the more your transition after death becomes a sacred passage of enlightenment, a triumphant return to the divine source from which all life flows. The records reveal that this awakening is the greatest act of love you can perform, not only for yourself, but for all creation, because in awakening to your divine nature, you awaken to the truth that we are all one in the eternal light of the Creator. Remember, the journey of the soul is an eternal dance of awakening, transformation, and divine reunification. The revelations of Cayce's readings remind us that death is not an end, but a sacred transition, a moment when the soul is called to remember its divine origin and step into the fullness of Christ consciousness. The shadows of karma and fear dissolve in the luminous truth that we are all divine sparks, eternally seeking to return home to the infinite love of the Creator. As you carry this sacred knowledge within, I invite you to share your insights below. Your reflections are vital in awakening others to their divine truth. Subscribe for more sacred revelations and share this message with those ready to embrace their eternal journey. Together, let us awaken to the divine light that resides within us all, guiding each of us home.